Arch Manning, the quarterback born and raised for this moment. Start number 1. And immediately with the Manning tradition hushing the crowd, Jaden Blue returns to the lineup. Manning with the fake, pressured, and that sells high as he was looking for Matthew Golden.
Him getting going early will help in the success of taking the load off of Arch Manning.
3rd and 3 for the Texas offense. Manning trying to move the chains. It's going to be close, but on the initial spot, it looks like DeAndre Moore Jr. will. First down, Texas.
Here's the best friend to a young quarterback is having time to protect. You see the offensive line gives Arch all day to be able to complete that pass.
The right side of the formation, Gunnar Helm and Juan Davis. Manning looking left, will scramble, and a flag is down after Manning picks up 2. Arch of the play action. Blue with the big block, stretching downfield, and complete into the midst of the Oregon State transfer, Silas Bolden.
Effectively, like they've been able to already, the play action is a huge bonus. And then you see the pocket that Arch is able to throw from. Take a shot on Sark, 2nd and short. We'll see how aggressive Sark wants to be.
Another chance on the run, shakes one defender, gets rocked by the second, and it is picked off. Carl Funtroy, the transfer from UAB, becomes the first player to pick off Arch Manning.
Your defense has to respond for ULM. How do they turn this positive into points? Well, offensively, use that momentum. The line quickly, 3rd and short.
Manning pulls it from Blue all day. Take his shot, why not? There he is! Isaiah Bond chases him down.
Again, going back to that big bomb right there, you see the pocket is clean, and then you just go give it to your guy, Isaiah Bond, who is an absolute nightmare matchup for any team.
Alamo Bowl when he was a freshman.
Yes.
The quick tip and the pick. Jarrett Gibson is now the running back, but Manning will throw. He's hit. And this is the biggest difference that I've seen between Ewers and Manning.
Off of the field, that's not a sign that you want to see at a position that you're already thin in.
Especially because Quintravion Wiesner is a little banged up for this game, may not even play. And on a quick slant, Gunnar Helm trying to get that stiff arm. Will this be the horse collar?
Now let's take a look at the replay here. You see Gunnar Helm split out wide, and then he catches that slant ball one-on-one. That's a hard task for any defender to be able to ask. They call the penalty first down for the Texas Longhorns.
Manning on her center, rolling to the right, throwing on the run, the dart to Jaden Blue. And the ballad of Archie Who is ready for a remix.
The defense right now, and Jaden Blue absolutely has the speed to be able to flank the defense. They lose him as Arch Manning continues to roll out. Jaden Blue has enough speed to get to the sideline. How Louisiana Monroe continues to fit that.
Bolden in motion. Manning will throw, going back the other way, and it's dropped by Jaden Blue. In 1 week, Arch Manning went from the 33 shortest odds to win the Heisman to the 7th. The bread and butter. Deep shot. This is at least going to draw a flag, and it does. Ryan Wingo, the freshman, big target. Here's Wingo.
Yeah, Wingo one-on-one again, all the time that Arch Manning needs. Ball slightly underthrown, but sometimes those underthrows allow you to pick up yardage because of the interference call.
Joining Xavier Worthy last week was the only freshman over the last 10 years with 125 through the air and a touchdown. So why not go back to the big target, the number 8 wide receiver prospect last season in the ESPN 300 Instant Impact.
Brian Wingo didn't get an opportunity to get the deep ball to play before. Well, Arch Manning says, don't worry, I got your back. Here you go, throws another dot.
Starting to see some of that rhythm now clicking for Arch Manning. Quick toss left side, Juan Davis, his second catch of the season, completes it with a little spin cycle. Banks and Connor made their first career starts against this program 2 years ago, and they've been starters ever since. Manning going through the progressions. The touch, no doubt. Find the freshman. Let him work some magic. 17 yards. Redshirt freshman Arch Manning. True freshman Ryan Wingo.
Mama, there goes that man yet again. And I'm talking about Arch Manning showcasing the beautiful arm, the beautiful pass. Excellent protection by the offensive line. And then an even better route by Ryan Wingo. It sets up the double move right there. Pick up by Jaden Blue. See you one-on-one. You can't handle it.
Arch and Quinn are tight. They are genuinely close friends, even though it's a loaded quarterback room. Bolden! Did he do it? Yes, he did! From Corvallis to Austin, it don't matter for Silas Bolden. And that's a Manning dime, 41 yards.
Yeah, you can count the time that Arch Manning has back there. 1, 2, 3.
Here's a glance. Ooh, we got some work to do upstairs. By Silas Bolden has been overturned, ruled an incompletion. Now, Fozzie, here are the two key things here. It was ruled a completed pass on the field.
Correct.
And you need conclusive evidence.
But you got to live with it. Call was reversed. Second down for Texas.
So Manning with the bullet, nearly jumped by Carlin Vigors, who was smelling his second pick six in as many games.
Yeah, Carlin Vigors had the game-sealing pick against UAB that kind of set up the opportunity for them to take it and run with it. And there he smelled another opportunity, jumping Jaden Blue on the outside.
Texas 3 for 3 on third down tonight. Manning with time. Lets it fly again. Why not? Matthew Golden! Contested catch. Brings it down. And Arch don't care. He's going to let it fly.
Again, another opportunity. It seems like you take your turns on deep shots. We've had Bond. We've had Bolden. We've had Wingo. Now we got Golden on a deep shot.
This Texas program for a very long time, I cannot recall this many deep shots this early in a game. Manning trying to dance, slips through two, tries to hurdle a third and fourth. That won't work as Billy Pullen and Jalen Ware are there.
The aggressiveness that Steve Sarkisian has shown is wearing off, and now you see Arch Manning, he's firm in the pocket. He has a lot of time, but Billy Pullen does a great job getting Arch down on the second go-round.
2nd and 13, quick pass, that's Bond. Isaiah Bond trying to shake and bake and hand fight his way down to about the 25-yard line.
Steve Sarkisian says, hey, let's get settled back in. Nice quick throw, reading outside. You know, a little RPO action. You see the one-on-one coverage, soft coverage. Get the ball to a playmaker, and he picks up the first down. Trying to stifle that explosiveness from showing, at least on big plays.
Jonte Cook in motion. Manning going back to Blue, just overthrew him. As Blue is looking for touchdown number 3.
We talked about that explosiveness and the speed. There you see Jaden Blue one-on-one with Knutson, and just slightly overthrown there in a ball that Arch Manning probably wishes he had back, and further his experience and hopefully make some dynamic plays.
Niblett converted from receiver to running back. And there he goes out on the flat. Gunnar Helm with the block. Niblett fighting forward inside the 5. Gunnar Helm is as complete of a tight end as you will find in America.
To your point about what Isaiah Bond said about Jaden Blue, well, he mentioned Gunnar Helm is the best tight end he has ever played football with, as he opens up the hole for Ryan Niblett.
Manning trying to fake. We got a flag down, as that was intended for Matthew Golden.
So it's refreshing that Arch Manning is able to do this, and the offensive playbook is wide open, as we've seen every play call available for Arch Manning to utilize at his disposal.
46-yarder to Golden, 56-yarder to Bond. That was not yak. That was all on arm strength. Manning, another one, double coverage. Almost threaded the needle, but Traver Randall was there to say, get out.
That was great execution by the ULM defense. They said, you've already beat us enough times over top. Well, we know it's a minute 40. You got to try to get a chunk play downfield. Randall does a great job of running with Cook. No harm, no foul for Arch Manning.
And Manning was cooking, but he's been off the field for more than 6 minutes of game time. Blue was there. Manning missed him. Second time that we've seen Manning put a little too much juice on it for Jaden Blue.
Yeah, that was another perfect play call right there by Steve Sarkisian. Arch Manning just puts a little too much, like you said. If Jaden Blue is able to come down with his catch, you're probably looking at another touchdown for Jaden Blue. That's 2 overthrow attempts that could have resulted in Texas touchdowns. Now you're looking at 3rd and 5, still with a minute 29 on the clock. A lot easier to manage.
5 for 5 on 3rd down. Manning going through the progressions, picked off. Right at Williams. First-year transfer from Delta State, coming up with the 2nd interception of his season and the 2nd pick against Manning for this Warhawks defense tonight. What happened?
Yeah, this defense has shown they can get takeaways. The ball comes in a little bit high and hot for Jaden Blue. That's one play and a catch that I feel like Jaden Blue can make.
Listed as questionable, limited coming into this game. Coach Sark was content with not playing him if they could avoid it. This one is late, but is it just me, or do I see Arch Manning taking more hits than Quinn Ewers at quarterback?
Yeah, he has taken more hits, and you see right there.
Manning Passing Academy is one of the best proving grounds for young quarterbacks in America. Manning dropped the snap, got hit, unleashes it, Bond tried to make the adjustment. And that really sums up everything on that play. There's a little bit of the inexperience, but the undoubtable, undeniable talent to just get that throw off.
Yeah, the snap is a little bit to his right, couldn't handle it, takes another hit. That's something to continue to watch out for.
Changes with Arch at quarterback. He says not much, but I have been on him to clap louder. He does not clap as loud as Quinn Ewers, and that signals the snap. Sidearm check down, incomplete to Jaden Blue. It's going to bring up 4th down to that program.
Yeah, there's probably a different type of animosity in that game.
You think. Here's Manning taking another shot, looking for the freshman. Some contact, no flag. As Carl Funtroy, the man that had the first pick against Manning, was running with the freshman Ryan Wingo.
Again here, as you see, offensive line does a phenomenal job giving Arch Manning the time. And another deep pass attempt that Sark has called and that Arch has been able to try to execute. Little handsy.
They had some very good frontline starters.
Yes.
Don't get me wrong there, but the depth was not where it needs to be. There's Silas Bolden, and a lot of that depth has been picked up in the transfer portal.
Of getting high school talent and then supplementing with elite talent in the transfer portal.
Quick strike to Jonte Cook. They just identify exactly where they need the help and they go get it. It's not like a blanket recruiting job through the portal. And that is through the hands of Ryan Wingo, the freshman, into a valley of wildebeest.
Not to my knowledge.
Gibson showing the hands and the quick acceleration.
Gets a touchdown. Well, now we see the exact opposite. Jared Gibson comes off, Jaden Blue comes in. Let's see if he can pay it forward.
Manning, there's the intermediate stuff to Silas Bolden. What about that find?
That looked exactly like the play Quinn Ewers ran just last week against UTSA that results in a touchdown. You see the back, goes right there. Arch Manning finds that window, fires a dart, absolute laser to Silas Bolden.